Good morning, mate. How you getting on? Wednesday, mate. Halfway through the week. Been a good one. Oh, you got a little bit of catching up to do. I got a bit of catching up to do. That hay fever I got yesterday, if you watch the XG files, got worse and ended up not being able to get to Urban Reform. I'm just having a look at the old chickens. Let's see what they're saying. Chickens and that. So, moved the needle with what I needed to do yesterday. Changed the lighting a little bit upstairs. We've added some blackouts to the bar where we shoot the podcast. Got some really good 3-point lighting. Adam came round and helped us, not Mac Patterson. That's his little thing. That's what he did at uni, was literally 3-point lighting. So, got Adam to come round, sort the lighting out. I need to get one of those ladder things now. Suspend the lights in the ceiling. Otherwise we've got tripods in the way. And then yeah, we'll be sorted. Broadcast quality. Also spent an ungodly amount of money on SD cards in the last week. The cameras that we use FX30s, Sony FX30s. I got 5 of them for the podcast, and we shoot it in 1080 in HD, and you want to shoot in 4K really, don't you? Especially with the good lighting that we've got. And like, I shoot this in 1080 24 because it's not about how good this looks. I can shoot this in 4K 60 if I wanted on this little camera, but then I have this massive file which takes ages to upload. And the whole idea of this video is it's like, good morning, how are you? And then we get it up. Podcast, well lit, great audio. You can get it in 4K, sweet, but the sort of SanDisk Extreme Pro memory cards, the SD cards, like a usual regular memory card, not quick enough to write to it. So we've had to use something called CF Express Type A cards for the nerds out there. And they are not cheap, repeat, not cheap. So the next podcast that we shoot, not actually sure who that is, we will be shooting on those, so keep an eye out for that on the old Stephen Howson podcast. See if you can tell the difference. I almost just want to watch one back on my telly in my living room to see the difference. You don't really tell on a phone, can you? But yeah, we're talking about memory cards today, Steve. We're going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. How about that? The United news this morning was Bruno Fernandes has got a link to Saudi and United looking at a new keeper, and I'm like, did that yesterday, lads. So I'm going to talk about whatever today. So I put an advert out on my Twitter. Not my Twitter, that's a lie. It was on my Insta and on LinkedIn yesterday, talking about wanting to expand what we do in terms of volunteers. I'll give you a little bit of background in terms of what I want to do. We've not had the highlights going out on Paddock for a while. Reasons for that? Well, the Veo camera has been broke for one, which has stopped us being able to do live broadcasts, which is, if I said frustrating, doesn't really cut it, because we've had some really good performances in the last month and no camera. Some really perfect team goals that I would love to be able to go, lads, this is exactly what I'm trying to do here. There was one goal where I think everybody, including the keeper, touched the ball. Perfect. I'm going to sit down today. How about that? I'm going to go sit down here, there's a bench here. And we haven't had the highlights coming on either. Oh, partially because I've not had people behind the camera to be able to go and do it. We've had a bit of a staff change and blah, blah, blah. But I want to resurrect that. I want to have a behind the scenes mini doc. When we first started the club, we had that. And they were doing some good numbers, something like between 25 and 40k, some of them. And they were really good. And we just need to get back to doing that, I think. The personality of the squad has changed. A couple of years ago, we had players that joined the club but then complained at the media side of the club. And I never wanted the media side of the club to overtake the sporting side of the club. So I listened and I let it fade off. And now I think as a club trying to understand where we're trying to get to and looking up the leagues, I sort of discussed this a couple of weeks ago about how much budget you need to go and survive in Northern Prem, Northwest counties and things like that. And I don't see a way. We're fan owned, right? We are a club that relies on whatever we can bring in via sponsorship, what we can bring in via membership and shirt sales. Shirt sales is nice, but doesn't really go that far, really. We don't make... we sell our shirts for 45 quid. You're buying Premier League shirts for, what, are they double that? So you can imagine the margins on. We could sell them for 80 quid, but what's the point? We can make a small profit on selling them for 45, and I'd rather sell them and have people wearing them than try and sell them for 45 and not really selling it. Sorry, 85. So shirt sales don't really move the needle, if you like. So what can we do? As a small club like we are, what can we do? Well, you can take a lead of what Hashtag have been successful with and what some other clubs have been successful with and do media. And do media well. And I think one of the things that has been successful, I feel like every club who's ever done it. Macclesfield did one. There's other reasons Macclesfield was successful. And a millionaire owner's probably more in line with it than a documentary that they did. But when you think about all of the football documentaries, I would say actually the most disappointing ones have been the all or nothing ones. They've been as much miss as hit. And I think a little bit of that is because of what the clubs have allowed. They were great for memes, but was the City one all that? The Tottenham one was great, possibly just because of Jose, but even that they cut out Poch getting sacked, and you're like, this is probably the most major thing that's going to happen during the course of the filming of this podcast, and you've not included it. Wrexham podcast, sensational. Sunderland Till I Die, sensational. Class of 92 documentary. Again, I don't know if that was because it was the full warts and all, or if it was because it included the Class of 92 lads, or maybe it was a combination. But for people to care about what you're doing, they have to know about what you're doing. For people to care about the why, people aren't just going to give a shit about this level 12 football team. They're not. So you have to make people care. How do you make people care? Well, you tell the story. My striker has a story. My left back has a story. The people behind the camera have a story. The coaches and the operations director and Janine doing the kits. There are stories in every aspect of that. And it's not for nothing. There's a reason X Factor does the fucking sob story at the start. I'm not saying we have to do a sob story. I think you just have to tell the story. But the sob story at the start is to make you give a shit. Why do you give a shit about all these freaks that are coming up trying to sing? Because they have to give you a reason to care. And I think for who we are as a football club, we have to give you a reason to care. I have to give you a reason that you're asked about what we're trying to do. And you don't have to manufacture it either. There's enough real stories that you can just tell the stories. So I've been putting together a bit of a gold standard kind of content plan for Paddock, and I put an advert out yesterday on LinkedIn and Instagram, sort of asking for people, for volunteers to come and get involved, and I've had a ton of people that are interested. So I'm hoping to sort of start ramping that up. Want to bring the programme back, even if it's just digital. Because again, we had a programme, but the cost of printing it outweighed the cost of what you got for selling it. And And as a football club that literally just exists, there's certainly no profit in it. Can't really afford that. You've got to prioritise, we're spending 6 figures on pitch hire a year. That's where the money goes. The money has to go into that, otherwise we've got nowhere to play, nowhere to train. But I'm hoping to bring that in. So if you're interested, go and have a look at my Instagram. It's the post yesterday. But it's not just the media side that I'm looking for people to get involved. And that can be anything. That can be from journalism, that can be editing videos, that can be remote actually, because I know there's a lot of people that are remote that want to do stuff. We can do, ideally you want to be doing like 2 or 3 TikToks a day. But again, the hardest part of that is capturing, logging, organising the footage that comes from it. But it's also on the football side of things. I would like someone to get involved with player development. Because I think you have to give players a reason to be here. Players are amateur. The only perk that you get of playing for Paddock is that there's no subs in the first team. There's subs in every other team. There's no subs in the first team. So you have to make people be wanted. So I want to improve our player development. We had a player development guy a few years ago. He got cancer. He had to stop doing it. He actually got in touch with me yesterday and said he's got some fresh ideas. He's cancer-free, so fantastic. And he wants to come back and do it. Now, I might not just bring him back. I might bring more back. But he was doing some really cool stuff, documenting it really well, paper trail. One of the things he was doing was kind of working with a single player on a specific aspect of their game, and then spending 6 weeks or so. You might identify a striker. Maybe he's not making the right runs. So he pulls the tape, speaks to the striker, and then works with him at training, after training, and we're making that striker better. And I think I can't do that as the manager. I try to do that when we're playing. I actually got marked down on my UEFA course. It was the one thing they marked me down on. Everything else was really good on my assessment. But the one thing I got marked down on was my positioning during conditioned games. Because I stand in the middle of the field. I stand where a ref is, basically. Now, the reason I do that is because I'm trying to actively coach. There's a couple of things. One, I want to feel the intensity of the game. And I can't do that from the sideline. And if I go and stand on the sideline, 25 different people will try and talk to me. So I get right in the middle of the game and no one talks to me then, because obviously there's a match going on around me and someone can't stand next to you. You just end up like you would be 2 people stood in the middle of the way of the pitch. So I stand in the middle of the pitch so I can focus and concentrate on what's going on, and I can feel the touches and I can hear the conversations. Is that good information? Is there good detail going on there? What's the intensity like? Are they stepping up? Can I see what they're trying to see? Can I see that pass that he's trying to make? Can I see the moves that we're trying to do on the pitch? It's good to get the perspective sometimes of being on the side of the pitch. It's sometimes good to get the elevated one so you can sort of see a little bit more what's going on. But I really like to be at the coalface in there as well. Feel what they're feeling, see what they're seeing. And then one thing I do, or try to do in that area, especially with my younger players, is just give them little 1 and 2 lines of advice and coaching from there. Sometimes maybe a player's receiving it, taking too many touches and then passing it. It might just be, quit it, let's play on 2. It might be, can you hold on to that ball a little bit more? Like you're passing it without any pressure. Invite the pressure a little bit and then we can go around and we can penetrate. It might just be little things like that. It might be when they're receiving the ball in midfield. This is one that I catch all the time. Their hips are too square. They're not opening out. They're not receiving on the back foot, being able to get on the turn straight away. So I like to get in and coach like that. But I don't get the chance to work with one player for the entire session. I've got 25 players I'm trying to look after. So I wanted someone that can look at a specific aspect of one of our players' game, 2 of our players' game, 3 of our players' game at a time, spend 6 weeks working with them and improve them. And it got me thinking, is that happening at United? And if not, why the fuck not? Like, there is no excuse whatsoever to not be doing that at a professional club, is there? I need to ask someone. I need to ask someone if you're being developed. Because you can't just say you're developing players. You can't just expect player development to happen. I mean, maybe you can at my level, you absolutely can. That's probably what every club is doing. But I don't want to be every club. I want to be a club that's known for it. Like, I have 16-year-olds in my first team. Is it not better for me to develop them? Like, if we advance over the next, say we promote this year, we're top of the league, there's a third of the season gone. It's not crazy for me to say that we could promote this year. If we get into the Cheshire Prem next year, I only have to finish top 5 of an application to the North West Counties. Now, if I had to say we could finish top 1 or 2, that's going to be a very, very difficult ask. But top 5, I would back without a single signing that we could finish top 5 in that league. And then we would be in the North West Counties. And that would be a different story. I would need to recruit for that. But these 16-year-olds, they turned 17, most of them, this year. Or this season. There's only one of them this side of Christmas, I think. Those 16-year-olds that I play in my first team, by the time we're in North West Counties, you're looking at them being, only 18 or 19. They could be my first team players by then. They're good enough to play first team football now at 16. If I can develop them, they might be able to carry us through those bottom few leagues of non-league as teenagers. If they do, they'll probably end up getting paid and being moved on. And being offered decent money higher up the leagues, I'm sure. But how much pride would you have? How much pride would I have in developing players that have come and joined the club at 14, 15, been given debuts at 16, and then carried us through several promotions and into the FA Cup and stuff like that? Honestly, that's literally the purpose I have for running this football club. But you can't just expect the player development to happen. You actually have to go and make it happen, which is what I'm trying to do. I want to get people that can, communicate with me. What do you think he's missing in his game? And I can have a conversation with you and I say, do you know what? When we've not got the ball, he's not really getting back. Or when we've got the ball, he's drifting out too wide. I need him to stay centre of the pitch, get on the ball there and then look to spread it to the other side. Like, there'll be things in their game that if I sit down with someone else, we can identify, and then I can go, can you bring that out of them? And we sit down with the player, we show them 10, 15 clips, make a development plan with them and then go work on it and then review it in 6 weeks. Did we make them a better player? Fantastic. Like I keep saying, I said it yesterday when we were talking about Rashford, and I said it before we were talking about Kobe Mainu, there is no negatives to hard work. None. Like, you either get recognised by the coach or the manager of the team that you're in, or you don't, but you're a better player. And if you end up being a better player, you'll end up moving, and you'll be appreciated by someone who maybe isn't seeing what you've got right now. But there's, what's the alternative? Sulk and not improve. Well, that's not going to fucking help you, is it? You got to put the graft in. But that includes everything. That includes me. I'm trying to get better. I'm doing courses to get better because I want to be better. I want to be better able to deliver my training programs, my tactics, and develop the players that I work with. So, if you're interested, if you've got a particular set of skills, one thing I would say is, there's always space for coaches that want to learn, absolutely. But I wouldn't turn anyone down that wants to come and get involved and develop their own coaching. But I really could do with help of people that have been in higher leagues, that have got specific experience, maybe that played at a decent-ish level themselves, that wants to get into coaching. That's what I need. We've got a good blend of experience in our squad at the moment and in our coaching staff, but a couple more older heads, particularly as we enter non-league, you do need experience of people that have played in non-league. We play a very unique style of play. I think it benefits us a little bit because almost everyone that we come up against has a very similar style of play. If not identical, but similar. I don't think anybody in our league plays like us. So I think that's a strategic advantage for us, is because of that. That everyone else plays the same way, so everyone else is kind of used to how everyone else plays it. When they come up against us, they don't actually fully know what to do. I'm trying to think who it was the other week. Might have been Knutsford. You could hear their players arguing, saying that we've changed stuff and that we've got 2 in midfield and blah blah blah, and the plan ain't working, and the players were kicking off and a manager on the sideline. And I was laughing with my old man about it. And I was like, we don't change shit. I'll tell you right now, it is a bit of an inside tip. The only thing I do is I push my fullbacks forward, right? The only change I ever make is that I tell them to sit in for the first 10-15 minutes of a game. While we get the temperature of the game and we get the rhythm. Every start of every game, every team tries to stick it on you and start fast. So let's just chill. First 10-15 minutes, let's get the game started. Let's ease ourselves into it. After that first wind that teams have and they start blowing, stick it on them then. That's when we start to turn the screw. I don't change shit. The way we play is the way we play. I don't have any other way. So it makes me laugh. I don't know what the fuck people think we're doing, but they kicking off and going, oh, we changed, blah, blah, blah. I don't change shit. But yeah, if you're interested in doing that, I just thought it'd be worth having a chat about. And if it's not happening, why is player development actually happening at Manchester United? I will ask the question of some people today and find out. Otherwise, take it easy. Me and Janine are off to York today. For those that are interested in IRL Fest, come and join Patreon. I am waiting on the flyer, and then we'll be booking it, or we'll be putting the tickets on sale. So within the next couple of weeks, it'll start to go on sale. So if you're interested in that, we've pretty much boxed off the itinerary now. We're going to go look at buying a new tent for us for it. Today, that's what we're going for. And I might treat myself to a big old Yeti cooler as well, because I've been eyeing one up for years. Just a real big fucking sexy Yeti cooler. Camo, maybe. I don't know, they do like a real nice kind of beigey one. I don't know why that one talks to me. But yeah, we're off to York. They've got like a massive go outdoors in York. So we're going to go check that out. Otherwise, take it easy everyone. Have a good day. I've got a video coming out on Shea Lacey later, which obviously ties into this in terms of player development. But I hope you get after it today. Shout out to everybody in the Telegram group getting after it this morning. It's incredible how many people I am seeing writing out their wins. Like I said, man, this is what we do. This is what we do. Never without a notebook. But yeah, have a good day. Stack of wins. And if you are, hit me up on Instagram. Tag me in your notes and share them. And let's put hashtag stack the wins. Let's see if we can start a movement, man. Take it easy. See you in a bit.